You ever feel like the more you try to fix something, the worse it gets? Like the harder you push for peace, the more chaos shows up? Or the more you try to force a connection, the more distant it feels? That's not just in your head, that's resistance. And it's something we all fall into without even realizing it. We think force equals progress. We think if we just push a little harder, obsess a little more, control every detail, we'll finally get what we want. But life doesn't work that way. Energy doesn't move through pressure, it moves through openness. The less you force it, the faster it flows. Why? Because when you force things, you create tension. And tension blocks flow. It creates friction where there should be movement. It builds walls where there should be space. And slowly, without even knowing it, you become the one standing in your own way. We're taught to hustle, to grind, to chase, but no one teaches us how to allow, how to breathe, how to trust, how to let things unfold in their own timing. And here's the hard truth most people avoid. What you chase out of fear rarely stays. But what flows to you through ease, that's what lasts. Think of water. It doesn't force its way through rock. It simply flows around it, patiently, quietly. And over time, it shapes entire landscapes. You don't need to force your path. You don't need to beg life to move. You need to trust that what's meant to flow will find its way the moment you stop blocking it with fear, pressure, and control. The fastest way to slow everything down is to keep trying to speed it up. But when you step back, when you breathe, when you release the need to have it all figured out right now, that's when things shift. It's not about giving up. It's about giving space, because when you give space, energy moves. Ideas come, peace returns, people show up. Not because you chase them, but because you stop running after what wasn't meant to be forced. That's the real shift, from trying to make things happen to learning how to let things happen. But letting go of force isn't easy when you've been trained to believe that control equals safety. Most people don't even realize they're doing it. They don't see how tightly they're holding on to people, to outcomes, to timelines. They wake up already tense, already trying to predict, fix, control, and push their way through the day. But underneath all of that, there's fear. Fear that if they stop controlling, everything will fall apart. Fear that if they stop trying so hard, nothing will happen at all. But here's the thing. Your tight grip is often what's making everything harder. You're not meant to micromanage your life like a machine. You're not here to strangle every moment with expectations. Life isn't a formula. It's not a checklist. It's a flow. And the moment you trust that flow, it starts working with you, not against you. Think about the moments in your life that felt the most magical, the unexpected encounters, the peaceful days, the opportunities that just clicked. You didn't have to force them. You didn't have to manipulate anything. They showed up when you were present, open, and not overthinking every step. That's not coincidence. That's the rhythm of life when you're not trying to beat it into submission. Forcing things creates friction. It creates unnatural pressure between you and reality. And the more pressure you apply, the more the things you want start to retreat. People feel it. Opportunities feel it. The energy around you becomes tense and uninviting. It's like trying to catch a butterfly by chasing it through the field. The more you chase, the more it flies away. But when you sit still, calm, grounded, it lands on your shoulder. This doesn't mean you stop taking action. It means your actions come from clarity, not panic, from peace, not pressure. Because when your inner world is calm, your outer world starts to reflect that. Things line up, not because you controlled them, but because you aligned with them. You don't need to beg the universe to give you something that's already on its way. You just need to stop blocking it with force. Letting it come to you doesn't mean being passive. It means being smart. It means understanding that flow is faster than force, that allowing is more powerful than chasing. You were never meant to exhaust yourself just to receive what's already yours. You were meant to let go of the noise and trust that what's real will remain, and what's forced will fall away. And when you can look at your life with open hands instead of clenched fists, things start to move again. So next time you catch yourself trying to force a conversation, a result, a dream, or a person, pause. Ask yourself, am I chasing this because I believe in it? Or am I chasing it because I'm scared it won't happen? Because if it's fear driving the wheel, you're not really moving forward, you're just running in circles. But when trust takes the wheel, that's when everything starts flowing faster than you ever thought possible. One of the most powerful shifts you can ever make in life is learning how to be okay without the thing you think you need. That's when you start moving from desperation to alignment, from fear to faith. When you're no longer glued to the outcome, when you're no longer trying to force someone to care, or rush your success, or squeeze clarity out of confusion, that's when real power starts to rise inside you. You become lighter, freer, quieter inside, and people notice. You walk differently, you talk differently, because you're no longer trying to get something from life. You're allowing life to bring the right things to you. There's a calm confidence in people who've stopped forcing. You can feel it in their energy. It's not that they don't care, it's that they trust. They trust that if a door doesn't open, it wasn't their door. They trust that if someone pulls away, it's protection, not rejection. They trust that what flows effortlessly is better than anything they could have manipulated into place. And that trust, that's magnetic, because we all crave that feeling, that ease, that flow. It's rare in a world full of people trying to prove, chase, impress, or control everything. But here's the truth. The person who doesn't force ends up receiving more. Not because they do less, but because they carry less noise, less need, less emotional baggage weighing everything down. Let's be real. Forcing things is exhausting. Whether it's forcing a relationship, a creative idea, a healing journey, or even your own emotions, it drains you. It makes you doubt yourself. It puts you in a constant loop of, why isn't it working? And every time you try to push harder, it feels like life pushes back. But when you stop and breathe, when you let things be for a moment, something strange happens. You begin to notice things you couldn't see before. The clarity comes. The next step becomes obvious. The peace settles in, because you're not trying to fight the river anymore. You're finally letting it carry you. It's not giving up. It's growing up. It's realizing that your peace is more valuable than your plans, that your worth isn't measured by how hard you try, but how well you trust. You can still want things. You can still work toward them, but the need to force them, that's what you're being asked to let go of. That's the part that's holding you back. There's something deeply powerful about knowing you don't have to chase what's already yours. And if it's not flowing, if it keeps slipping away, no matter how much you push, that's a sign. Not to try harder, but to try differently, to soften, to trust, to create space. Because the less you force it, the faster it flows. Every single time. Sometimes the reason we force things is because we don't trust ourselves to handle the silence. We think if we stop trying, if we stop controlling, if we stop constantly doing, that we'll lose control, that everything will fall apart, that we'll miss our chance. But here's the honest truth. The silence isn't empty. It's where the answers live. When you stop forcing, you begin hearing what's really going on inside you. That voice underneath all the noise. The one that already knows what's right. The one that doesn't panic, doesn't rush, doesn't beg for attention. It's quiet, but it's always been there. The only reason you can't hear it is because force is too loud. Forcing comes from fear. Flow comes from presence. And when you get still enough, present enough, you start to remember who you are without the stress, the need, the pressure. You begin to realize that chasing things outside of you was never the path to fulfillment. It was just a distraction from your own inner clarity. You don't need to force someone to see your worth. You don't need to beg for timing to align. You don't need to panic your way into progress. Because here's what people don't tell you. Your life unfolds faster when you stop needing it to happen fast. It's in the pause where things reset. It's in the rest where new strength is built. It's in the letting go that the space for something better appears. And when you let go, something subtle shifts. Your energy softens, your nervous system calms. You stop broadcasting need and you start radiating peace. And people feel it. Opportunities feel it. Life feels it. It's not about sitting back and doing nothing. It's about moving without tension, acting without panic, showing up without gripping so tightly to the result. There's nothing more powerful than a person who can say, I want it, but I don't need to force it. That's alignment. That's flow. That's self-trust. And when you move from that place, things begin to chase you because you're not trying to take control anymore. You've become the calm, the one who trusts timing, the one who holds space, the one who no longer rushes because they know rushing is just another form of fear. And when you're no longer afraid to slow down, you start noticing how fast everything moves for you. Not because you chased it, but because you finally stopped blocking it. Here's something nobody teaches you growing up. You can't force clarity. You create the space for it. And most of the time, that space is the one thing we avoid the most, because space feels empty. It feels uncertain. We'd rather fill the silence with action, even if it's chaotic, than sit with the discomfort of not knowing. That's why we force things, not because we believe it will work, but because we're afraid of doing nothing. But here's the truth. Forcing isn't forward motion. It's usually just emotional noise. It's trying to solve something before it's ready. It's sending that extra message just to get a response. It's over-explaining yourself when silence would have said more. It's pushing for a breakthrough when your spirit is clearly asking you to rest. The truth is, the people who flow through life aren't lucky. They've just learned how to trust the timing of their own growth. They understand that what feels like nothing is happening is often when the most is happening, just not in ways you can see yet. Roots grow in the dark, healing starts in stillness, and breakthroughs come when you stop hammering on the door and finally let it open on its own. There's real strength in doing less with more intention, real wisdom in choosing stillness over struggle, in choosing patience over panic. It's not that these people don't want results, it's that they understand something deeper. Forcing the seed doesn't make it grow faster, it makes it weaker. You don't yank the flower out of the soil to check if it's blooming. You trust the process even when it's invisible, especially then. And let's be honest, every time you forced something in your life, didn't it leave you feeling more drained than fulfilled? Every time you chased something that didn't feel right, didn't it end up teaching you a lesson in letting go? You see, life has this way of showing you the truth, whether you're ready or not. And often, it's in the letting go that you finally see it. That's why this shift matters, because the moment you stop forcing is the moment you start aligning. You're no longer chasing what isn't for you. You're not draining yourself trying to make something fit. You're letting life show you what belongs and what never did. And here's the wild part. Once you start flowing, you realize how much time you wasted forcing. You look back and wonder why you ever fought so hard for things that didn't even feel good once you had them. That's growth, that's maturity, that's awareness. And from that space, life moves faster, cleaner, smoother, because now you're not pushing against it, you're moving with it. So here's the truth that stays with you long after this video ends. You don't have to chase what's already aligned with you. You don't have to grip so tightly, beg life for answers, or keep exhausting yourself trying to hold things together. The less you force it, the faster it flows. Not because you gave up, but because you finally gave in to trust. Let that sit with you. Next time you feel that urge to push, to chase, to control something that clearly isn't flowing, pause, breathe, step back, and remind yourself that pressure creates resistance, but peace creates momentum. You're allowed to rest. You're allowed to move slower. You're allowed to let life meet you halfway, because it will, if you stop standing in the way. And if this message resonated with you, really hit something in you, then this space is for you. This channel was built to be a reminder, a breath of air in a world full of noise and pressure. So if you felt calm here, if something in you softened while listening, subscribe, not just for more content, but to stay close to these moments that remind you who you really are. Like this video if it brought you value, and comment the word flow down below to let me know you made it to the end. And more importantly, that you're ready to let go and let life move through you again. Let go, breathe, flow. Everything you're chasing might already be on its way to you. You just need to stop running past it.